I lost her not because of another man. I lost her because of perfect videos, flawless photos, and emotionless numbers on a phone screen. A part of me died with her unfiltered smile. Hey everyone, how's it going today? Does anyone feel like they're caught in the whirlwind of a virtual life where every moment can become content? Or are you silently watching the one you love slowly change because of superficial things on social media? I hope my story today will be a wake-up call, a heartfelt confession for us to look at ourselves, to look at our relationships before it's too late. Because sometimes love's greatest enemy isn't a third person, but something invisible, yet powerful enough to erode everything social media. It seeps into every corner, every breath, every heartbeat of a relationship, turning the most authentic things into a staged performance. If anyone asked me to define happiness, I wouldn't hesitate to talk about the early days with Luna. We weren't a loud or flashy couple. Our happiness was simple. It was those mornings with coffee on the porch, birds chirping and warm sunlight streaming through the leaves. Luna loved making coffee with a fin filter, and I was captivated watching her fuss with each rich black drop, the fragrant aroma filling our small kitchen. Those were peaceful, quiet moments, just two souls merging into one. Happiness was weekend strolls hand in hand in the park, watching elderly folks exercise, children playing, and couples sitting together on benches. We didn't need to talk much. A tight handhold and exchanged glance was enough to feel complete peace and contentment. Occasionally, we'd stop at a street food stall enjoying simple dishes and giggling over endless nonsensical stories. We had the whole world in each other's eyes, and that world didn't need any external validation. Our life drifted on like that, slowly and filled with genuine love. We never felt the need to prove anything to anyone or to chase any trends. Our love was a flower blooming quietly in its own garden with no need to show its colors to the world. We had built a peaceful fortress where the worries of the outside world seemed unable to touch us. But then everything slowly changed, not loudly, not dramatically, but silently, like the passage of time. Like a tiny crack on a clear pane of glass, initially unnoticed, but then growing larger and larger with each passing moment until it shattered irrevocably. That change began when Luna started an Instagram account dedicated to positive marriage. She always had a good eye for aesthetics, and creating beautiful images had always been a hobby of hers. I thought this would be a harmless outlet for her passion, a way for her to share positive things about life. Initially, I didn't think much of it. Just a few cute photos, everyday moments shared with friends. Luna loved taking pictures, and I happily played photographer for her. She'd post stories about home-cooked meals, short clips of how we decorated our home, or simply a loving caption dedicated to me. I was happy she found a new joy, a way to express herself. I told myself it was just a harmless hobby, a way for her to de-stress after work, a channel for her to connect with like-minded people. However, that joy gradually turned into an obsession. Luna's phone began to be present everywhere at all times. It became an inseparable object, like an extension of herself. Breakfast couldn't start without a perfect photo with natural light and the most artistic angle. Luna would spend tens of minutes arranging the food, adjusting every plate, every tiny flower until everything looked dazzling and Instagrammable. I would sit opposite her sipping cold coffee, watching her intently with her phone waiting. Our most private moments, from a spontaneous kiss to a lazy evening curled up on the sofa watching movies, all became material for Luna to color correct, add music, edit, and post. I saw her spend hours replying to comments, interacting with strangers online, and constantly checking the number of likes, the number of followers. Sometimes I felt like I was next to a stranger, someone whose soul was always suspended in the virtual clouds of the digital world where numbers became the measure of worth. Every time we went out, Luna would always bring her phone, and her eyes constantly searched for beautiful, aesthetic spots. A small alley, an old wall, a quiet cafe, all could become backdrops for new photos or clips. She would tell me to stand here, stand there, smile like this, hold the drink like that. At first I enjoyed it, seeing it as a fun game, but gradually I grew tired. Outings were no longer relaxing moments, but endless photo shoots. I still remember one afternoon we were sitting together reading in the quiet of the room, a rare moment I deeply cherished. Suddenly, Luna picked up her phone, turned on video mode, and said, "Henry, let's do a reading challenge story. It looks so romantic." I instantly felt a pang of disappointment. Our romance, the moments truly built from connection, were now being turned into a challenge, a piece of content to show off to the virtual world. I felt myself slowly being transformed from a real husband, a man with emotions, with a need for love and sharing, into a prop in her virtual life. I was just part of the backdrop, a small detail in the perfect picture Luna was trying to paint. I started to wonder if she still saw me as a real man or just a supporting character in the story she was telling thousands of strangers out there. That was the first secret revealed. The Instagram Luna built wasn't just a sharing platform. It started to become a living entity, an invisible third party that seeped into every corner of our relationship. It didn't compete for affection, but it competed for attention time and even our most sacred private moments. The constant presence of her phone created a thin veil between us, a distance that grew wider and wider unnoticed by me until it was too late. And I, in my naivety, didn't realize this was a threat, a sign of impending breakage, an invisible knife cutting away the bonds of our love thread by thread. I ignored the initial warning signs because I believed our love was strong enough to overcome anything. Luna's change wasn't just limited to filming and posting. It seeped deep into her psyche, transforming how she viewed life and herself. Social media, initially a place for Luna to share joy, now became a hidden arena where she constantly compared her life to the perfect, dazzling images of others. Every time Luna scrolled through Instagram, I saw a new anxiety rise in her eyes. She was no longer happy with what she had, but constantly craved what others were flaunting. I remember distinctly one rainy evening. We had just finished dinner, the clinking of dishes mixing with the sound of rain outside the window. This should have been a cozy moment, sitting next to each other, telling each other about our day, enjoying the peace. But Luna sat beside me, silently scrolling on her phone. The blue light from the screen cast an indescribably distant glow on her face. Suddenly, I saw her shoulders tremble slightly, and then a choked sob broke the silence. She cried, not because of a sad movie, nor because of a touching story. Her tears weren't for personal pain, but for some invisible disappointment. Luna showed me her phone screen. On it was a viral video of a couple sponsored by a famous travel brand for a trip to Europe. They smiled, radiantly hugged under the Eiffel Tower, kissed on a gondola in Venice. Everything was perfect, dazzling, like a dream, like a scene from a movie. That image of perfect happiness starkly contrasted with the gloomy atmosphere in our room. "Why can't we have that, Henry?" Luna's voice trembled, her eyes red-rimmed, filled with self-pity and longing. "I try so hard. I diligently build my channel, diligently post, diligently interact. I've spent so much time and effort making everything look beautiful, so positive. Why do they get free trips, get to live the dream, and we don't? I feel so far behind, Henry. I feel like I have nothing special. Our lives are just too ordinary. There's nothing to show off about." I looked at Luna. The carefree wife who used to find joy in simple things was now obsessed with what others had. She was comparing our real life to 30-second videos, perfectly edited photos on social media. My heart twisted. A dull ache surged like an old wound being touched. I realized that this wasn't just simple envy, but a deep insecurity, a craving for validation that she was trying to fill with virtual values. "We're doing fine, Luna," I said, my voice trying to remain calm, but deep inside was profound sadness. I hugged her gently, patting her back. I wanted to give her warmth, comfort, and the belief that our love was enough. We have each other, a warm little family, moments that not everyone gets. Those trips, those gifts might just be appearances, honey. You don't know what's behind those dazzling photos, do you? Maybe they have to be under pressure to create those images. The most important thing is that we're happy together, truly happy without needing to prove it to anyone. I believed my heartfelt words would soothe the insecurity in her heart. I thought our love and bond were enough for her to overcome the pressures of the virtual world. I was wrong. Luna pulled away from my embrace, looked me straight in the eyes, and replied with a cold, decisive statement, as if she had thought about it a lot, had kept it hidden in her heart for a long time. "Fine is never enough, Henry. I feel left behind. Everyone is running. Everyone is flaunting their ideal lives. They have luxurious trips, romantic dinners, expensive gifts. They are praised, admired. If we keep being stable like this, we'll be left behind. I don't want to be a failure in this race, a race whose finish line I don't even know." That statement was like a splash of cold water to my face. Fine is never enough. It turned out our definitions of happiness were that different. For me, stability and peace were precious, the foundation for a happy life. For Luna, that stability was stagnation, a sign of failure in the eyes of others, something to be ashamed of if not shown off. I realized the second secret revealed: Luna didn't just want a happy life. She wanted a perfect life on social media, a life acknowledged and admired by thousands of strangers. Her greatest fear wasn't losing me, but losing status, losing her sparkle, losing the virtual praise she was trying to build. She had lost the ability to feel joy from simple things, replaced by a craving for validation from strangers she didn't even know. And I was utterly helpless against that craving because I couldn't change what she was seeing, couldn't change the standards she was setting for herself. From that moment, I knew we were on two different paths, and social media had become a chasm between us. My love, my care now seemed to lack the weight to fill the void in her soul, a void created by comparisons, by relentless cravings from the virtual world. I saw the change, but I didn't know what to do to pull Luna back to reality, back to the carefree person I once loved. I felt so small, so useless against an invisible yet incredibly powerful opponent. The days that followed our lives gradually transformed into a never-ending content campaign. Every moment, every activity had to be optimized for Instagram. Our home was no longer a sanctuary, but a mini film set where Luna constantly arranged adjusted lighting and sought out the best angles. The morning coffee no longer smelled as good as before because it was overshadowed by the scent of room sprays and essential oils meant to create a luxurious atmosphere for Luna to film her peaceful morning vibe videos. We used to stroll in the park to breathe fresh air, to talk, to enjoy nature's serenity, to find peace of mind. Now every walk came with a tripod, a lapel microphone, and dozens of pan slow-motion wide-angle clips. Luna would stop abruptly in the middle of the path, tell me to pose, smile brightly, or act out scenes of us holding hands under trees or exchanging loving glances. She would review each clip, each frame, until she felt it was viral enough to attract attention. I no longer felt comfortable or relaxed. Every step felt like I was walking on a stage, and I was an actor without lines, someone performing a role whose script I didn't understand. I felt like I was slowly losing my freedom, losing my own genuine moments. We used to cook together in the kitchen, the clinking of knives and cutting boards, laughter echoing, and the fragrant smell of food. Those were the moments we felt closest. Those were moments I deeply cherished when we created something together, shared stories from our day. Now cooking became an elaborate project, a meticulously planned process. Luna would film the entire process, from neatly arranged ingredients to each precise professional step of preparation, and finally the beautifully plated finished dish on expensive ceramic plates, accompanied by a meaningful caption about healthy meals for a happy couple. I no longer felt excited. The best food isn't the prettiest on Instagram, but the food cooked with love and sharing, enjoyed in comfort and authenticity. My real emotions were replaced by clumsy, acting forced smiles in front of the phone camera. I ate without tasting because my mind was always preoccupied with whether she was satisfied with the content. Everything was filtered, painted to be perfect, dazzling. But our real emotions, they dwindled, faded day by day. Our conversations no longer revolved around deep things, inner thoughts, but only about content ideas, about new trends, about how to increase engagement, about coverage plans. Luna would ask me, "Do you think this will go viral? Will this get a lot of views? What should I do to grow my channel even more?" I didn't know how to answer correctly. I just wanted Luna to go back to being herself, the carefree, innocent Luna, not obsessed with numbers and likes. I missed her real smile, the sparkling in her eyes when she talked about a good book, or her excitement when she found a new recipe. Those things were now gone, replaced by constant tension and unending fear of not meeting the expectations of the virtual world. I felt lost in my own life, in my own home. Our love was being turned into a product, a brand, to promote an item displayed in the market of attention. I remember one evening after Luna had spent hours editing a video about perfect married life, with sweet words and gentle music, I tentatively suggested, my voice hesitant, as if afraid to burst a fragile bubble. "How about we take a social media break for a week, Luna? Just 1 week, so we can truly be together. No phones, no filming. I miss our own moments. Moments that don't need anyone to see them for us to be happy." Luna looked at me, her eyes almost angry, an anger I had never seen before. She slammed her phone down on the table, the sharp sound echoing in the silent room like a bell signaling the end. "You don't understand, Henry," she said, her voice full of disappointment and accusation mixed with a hint of helplessness. "I'm building my personal brand, you know that. I'm trying my best to develop myself, to bring positive value to people. This is my work, my passion. Don't you support me? Do you want me to give up? Do you know how much effort I've poured into it? How much time and energy I've sacrificed to achieve these results?" I was speechless. I didn't know how to answer correctly, because I no longer knew in this house what was real and what was a performance. I didn't know if Luna was speaking sincerely, or if she was trying to protect the dynamic, progressive, valuable image she had built on social media. I didn't know if she still loved me, or if she only loved the image of the perfect husband, the understanding partner that I was trying to contribute to her brand. Everything had become blurred, mixed between reality and illusion. That was the third secret revealed. Luna's true self had gradually dissolved into her virtual self on social media. She was no longer living for herself, no longer living for our love, but living for the glances, the praises from strangers, living to achieve numbers that had no real meaning. And I couldn't compete with thousands of followers, thousands of likes, and those superficial accolades. I lost Luna before she even realized she was lost, caught in a world that wasn't real. Our life had turned into a long play, and I no longer wanted to act. The distance between us grew larger and larger, a distance not of geography, but of soul. Luna delved deeper into the virtual world, into the endless cycle of content creation, engagement, optimization, and chasing the latest trends. She became busier than ever, but that busyness wasn't for me, not for our everyday moments. Our conversations became superficial. Our touches became emotionless. I felt like I was talking to a ghost, someone whose soul had been pulled into another world, a place I couldn't reach, couldn't understand. I still tried desperately. I still tried to find a way to pull Luna back to reality, back to the person I had loved. I bought books she liked, invited her to movies, to places where we had beautiful memories. I cooked her favorite dishes, tried to create romantic evenings, just the two of us. But each time her eyes would gravitate towards her phone. She would secretly check messages, scroll through short videos, and sometimes I even saw her turn on her phone to record the moments I had tried to create just for us. I felt like I was competing with an invisible opponent, an opponent I couldn't see, couldn't defeat. That pain was like a persistent needle prick, dull but constant, eroding my heart little by little. I remember one evening I was sitting next to Luna reading a book. I saw her giggle as she scrolled through Instagram, then frown while watching some video. I wondered if that smile, that emotion was real or just an automatic reaction to online content. I longed for her eyes to look at me, a smile for me, a moment where I was the center of her attention. One fateful morning, I woke up earlier than Luna, brewed her a warm cup of milk coffee by hand, just the way she liked it. I placed the coffee cup on the bedside table, then sat down next to her, gently tucking her hair behind her ear. I wanted to create a peaceful moment, a moment just for the two of us without social media interference. I hoped for a smile, a hug, a genuine thank you from the bottom of her heart. I had imagined her burying her head in my shoulder, inhaling the coffee scent and whispering sweet nothings. Luna woke up. The first thing she did was reach for her phone, immediately turning on the screen. Her eyes were completely focused on it, as if it was the most important thing in the world. I saw her shoulders tremble slightly, and then a choked sob broke the silence in the room, shattering all my fragile hopes. Luna cried. Not because of me, not because of the coffee I had just brewed, but because of some video online. She showed me her phone, her eyes red-rimmed, tears rolling down her cheeks. It was a viral video of a perfect 10-point empathetic husband. In the video, the husband prepared a perfect breakfast for his wife, gave her flowers, massaged her feet, and constantly said sweet, loving words, so deep, quotes about love and marriage. Everything was meticulously staged, perfect in every detail, like a lavishly produced movie script, without a single flaw, not a single blemish. Luna whispered, "Don't you see, Henry? People are that happy. Their husbands are empathetic, pampering their wives every little bit. Why aren't you like that? Why can't you do those things for me? You're trying. I know, but you're not like those people out there. And I feel empty." My heart felt squeezed. I looked at her, my eyes filled with pain and helplessness. "I am trying, Luna. I do love you. I've tried so hard to make you happy. But I'm not an actor. I can't act out a perfect life script like on social media. I love you in my own way, with what's most real, with quiet, unpretentious actions. I love you by making you coffee every morning, by listening to you, by holding you tight when you're sad. I love you with the small, simple things we used to cherish." I wanted to say more, wanted to explain that our love didn't have to be like anyone else's, that true love lies in authenticity, in moments that don't need to be recorded, don't need to be glorified. I wanted her to understand that what she saw on social media was only a very small part, a painted, staged part for content purposes, to attract attention and superficial praise. I wanted her to look at reality, to look at our love, to look at me, not the illusions on the screen. But Luna wasn't listening. She remained silent, staring intently at her phone screen, as if still immersed in that virtual world, without a single expression on her face. Then she repeated word for word, like a life sentence. "For me, like an inevitable end. You love me, but you're not like those people out there. And I feel empty." I was stunned. My whole world seemed to collapse beneath me. Empty. A simple word, yet it carried the weight of 1,000 pounds. It turned out my love, my sincerity, was being weighed against the number of likes, against perfect videos on social media. It turned out I wasn't up to standard to be the husband in her virtual life, not perfect enough to be viral, to be trending. That was the fourth secret revealed. Luna had fallen in love with an idolized version of love and marriage that she saw on social media, instead of loving my true self, loving the imperfections in our relationship. She had lost the ability to perceive the real value of love, and I couldn't win against the illusions she had created herself. Her eyes were no longer looking at me, but always looking elsewhere, where there were dazzling images, perfect videos, illusions she had willingly immersed herself in and she didn't want to escape. I knew from that moment I had lost Luna not because of another man, but because of the virtual world she had willingly entered and chosen to live in. I lost her because of illusions and numbers. After that morning, everything became clearer than ever. Luna was still there right next to me, but her soul was far away in a world I could never reach. We still lived under the same roof, still ate meals together, still followed our old routines, but between us was an invisible distance as vast as an ocean impossible to fill. I no longer tried to pull her back. I knew I couldn't win against the illusions she was chasing. I couldn't compete with thousands of likes and comments. I was tired of this hopeless fight. Our breakup didn't involve loud arguments or overflowing tears, no accusations or recriminations. It happened gently, frighteningly calmly, like a movie slowed down to its final frame. There was no third person involved, no one clearly at fault. Just two people, two definitions of happiness, two worldviews that no longer intersected, no longer on the same frequency. We had chosen two completely different paths. One evening as I was working on my computer, the steady sound of my keyboard echoed in the room. Luna walked in. She wasn't wearing makeup. Her hair was down her eyes, looking at me with an unusual stillness, as if she had accepted everything. I knew she had made her final decision, and I was ready to receive it. "I think we should stop, Henry," she said, her voice soft like a whisper in the wind, but it carried the weight of tons of bricks crushing my heart. "I can't continue like this anymore. I can't force myself to live a life that I feel isn't complete, isn't perfect enough, isn't dazzling enough like what I see. I need a different space, a different life. I need to live true to what I'm pursuing." I nodded. I didn't say anything. All words now seemed meaningless, hollow. I was too tired to argue, too heartbroken to plead. I only felt a vast emptiness, a cruel acceptance, a painful liberation. "I'm sorry, Henry," Luna added. Her voice slightly choked, a single tear rolling down her cheek. "That was the only tear I saw during this breakup. I know you tried so hard. You tried to understand me, tried to be there for me in your own way. But I can't stop comparing, can't stop craving the things I see on social media. I feel lost, and I need to find myself again, find the values I'm pursuing." And so we broke up. A breakup without loudness, without shattering, without drama, but painfully bone deep. Luna moved out, taking suitcases full of clothes, cameras, tripods, all things related to her virtual world. She left behind my broken heart, an empty house, and memories of a love that had once been so real. After the breakup, Luna continued her virtual life. She still posted beautiful photos with radiant smiles, profound captions about healing, about the journey of finding oneself, about overcoming difficulties to become stronger. She hashtagged about true love, about self-happiness, about positive energy. She seemed happy, at least on social media. The numbers kept rising, the likes were steady, and the praises soared, as if this breakup was just a stepping stone for her to become more perfect in the eyes of others. Luna still didn't unfollow me, and neither did I. Between us, there was still an invisible bond, a painful silence, a constant reminder of what was lost. I knew that was her way of showing civility after the breakup, part of the positive image she built. As for me, I stopped going online much. I deleted most social media apps from my phone. I no longer cared about likes or views, about comments from strangers. I only kept one old photo, a photo I took of Luna when she was sitting reading by the window, completely unaware someone was taking her picture. In that photo, Luna smiled so brightly, a genuine, carefree, innocent smile, without any pretense, without any calculation, without any pressure from the virtual world. That was her true smile, the smile I had loved, and that smile now only exists in my memory. It's a precious relic of a lost love. That was the fifth secret revealed. Even after breaking up, Luna couldn't escape the perfect facade she had created for herself on social media. She chose to live in the virtual world instead of facing the truth, facing her own real emotions. She didn't dare to face a life without validation from the virtual world. And I had to learn to accept that truth, learn to let go of a love I once thought was eternal. This breakup taught me a valuable lesson. Love isn't a content campaign, not a perfect photo or a viral video. Love is authenticity. It's moments that don't need to be flaunted. It's accepting each other's flaws, and it's the ability to overcome life's challenges together. True love doesn't need a stage or flashbulbs. I lost Luna, but I found myself again, rediscovered the value of truth, of simple and authentic things in life. I learned to love myself, to cherish present moments, and to build a meaningful life without needing validation from others on social media. I realized that true happiness isn't found in numbers or engagement, but in peace of mind and genuine connection with those around you. If you're listening to this story and you feel that the one you love is starting to love the virtual world more than you if every moment between you two has to be digitized, publicized, optimized for the gaze of others, if their eyes no longer look at you but are constantly glued to a phone screen scrolling through other perfect lives they desperately wish to become. Please, just a moment. Take a breath. Take a moment to listen to that inner voice, the voice of your heart and your mind. Look directly at your partner, not with judgment but with genuine understanding. Be brave enough to ask, are we truly living for each other, or are we living for what others see? Is my dream still our dream? Or are we slowly becoming two parallel lines side by side, yet each heading towards a different horizon where illusory glimmers of fame await? And most importantly, ask yourself the most crucial question. A question I wish I had asked sooner. A question I was too cowardly to face. Am I doing this out of genuine love and soulmate connection for the true happiness of both of us? Or out of fear of missing out of a desire for validation, out of the pressure to be perfect in the eyes of others? Or because I don't dare to face the truth that real life can never be as perfect as it is online? Am I deceiving myself and deceiving the one I love to chase a false sense of happiness? Because a love built on ostentation, comparison, or on virtual values is like building a house on sand. That house might look beautiful and sturdy from the outside, it might be praised and admired by everyone, but its foundation is weak, easily crumbling before the storms of life. You can try to push through, try to play a role that isn't yours, try to cover up the hidden cracks within, try to maintain an unreal image, but one day you'll be exhausted, you'll lose yourself, and everything will shatter more painfully than you can imagine. Remember this. You don't need to be an edited version, a filtered image to be loved. True love doesn't need filters, doesn't need likes, doesn't need millions of views. It needs sincerity, understanding, acceptance of imperfections, and moments lived as your true selves together. I loved her, even when no one was watching, when she was at her most imperfect, when she was at her weakest, when she didn't have to put on any act. I loved her real self. But in the end, it seems that was never enough. Thank you for listening to my story. If this story touched your heart, or if you have any thoughts or feelings you want to share, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Please hit the like button, share this story with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other profound stories about life, love, and the lessons we paid a price to learn. Your support is what motivates me to keep sharing. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.